guidance that we got from the technical division, state auditor's office, is that they focus primarily on engine and transmission for pieces of equipment that operate with engines and transmissions. That just happened to be what we were talking about. And so the guidance was this: if you're going to replace one or both of those components right there, don't be monkeying around as if that's just a straight up repair. But what we're dealing with here are not the engine, not the transmission. We're dealing with component parts of it that the repair shop is telling us, we think it's this, but we need to test and see if that's really what it is. Well, they get that replaced, and they got to go find what else it could be. So as long as we're not replacing the drivetrain, I'm okay with us continuing to keep the PO open and until they get it repaired. Until you guys say, that's enough of that nonsense, let's get another one. And if I can convince you to wait till January to do that, I'll feel a whole lot better. I don't know about Bridget, I don't want to speak for her, but I'll feel a whole lot better if we wait till January.
All right.
That's all I got. Thank you.
Yes, sir. All right. Mr. Parker?
So you can just sit down. We don't need to improve any of this stuff.
Okay. You're gonna just cover it in one
How,
minute.
that's,
First item that I have is a North Shore Parkway Spillway Road Improvement Project, and we're recommending approval of pay application number 3 to Hemphill Construction Company in the amount of $121,445.09. Authority to issue that check.
so move. All right. Jay makes a motion.
Second.
Jared seconds. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passed.
Thank you. Next item I have on the agenda is a Oak Road Drainage Improvement Project. Recommending approval of partial pay request number 4 in the amount of $289,071.92 to Hemphill Construction Company, and authority to issue that check.
So move.
So I got,
Well, I'd like to talk.
They've done a great job.
Well,
Everybody got it
I
just
want you to know
about.
that I'm seconding your motion. On the record.
Oh, there's something coming.
Man,
Oh, yeah, he wants something.
All right. Jay made the motion, Jared seconds.
Hey, that was Bob.
Oh, that was Bob?
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Jared. We'll take credit for this
Okay,
one
all
now.
right, Bob seconds it. Any other discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion barely passes.
all right, thank you. Third and last item that I have is our Mill Creek subdivision drainage improvements. We're recommending approval of pay application number 2 in the amount of $52,927.86 to Utility Constructors, Inc., and authority to issue that check.
So move.
All right, Jay made a motion.
Second.
I'm gonna give it to Jared. Jared seconds. Any other discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. President, I make a motion on Mr. Slay, we combine A, B, and C together to set public hearing for October 15th.
Second motion.
I'm sorry, Bob.
We're gonna combine A, B,
We're
and
gonna
C.
combine A, B, and C,
All right.
set the public
All
hearing.
right. All right, Bob makes a motion that we combine A, B, and C and set these public hearings, all in, who seconds? You made the motion,
Yeah,
Jared
Second,
second.
yeah.
All right, any other discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion passed.
Mr. President, item D under my section is a public hearing. This will be a public hearing on the E.W. Grantham conditional use permit, and the establishment of conditions therefore. And so we will open that public hearing. Mr. E.W. Grantham is seeking a conditional use permit to mine 4 acres of a 154-acre parcel at 136 Grantham Farm Road. The property is zoned RE1A. The dirt will be used for the Highway 49 construction project. The contractor will backhaul dirt from the project to the property. No proposed hours of operation were included in the application. The certificate of permit coverage from DEQ expires March the 31st of 2023. This is District 1 property. That public hearing is open. I will ask if there is anyone here to speak in opposition to or in seeking clarification of this conditional use permit. I see Mayor Florence is here with us today, and I believe, Mayor, you were going to address the board on this. We do have conditions for this particular application that we will share with you, but we want the mayor to be, Mayor Morris to be able to speak to the board first.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
Well, my name's Bob Morris. I am the mayor of Florence. And I've only got a couple concerns. One is the usage of our streets. I don't think, sorry, I'm losing my voice. The concern is the weight on our streets. I don't think our streets is going to be able to take the weight. I'm not against the project at all. But also the hours at our school, there's so much traffic. I don't know if y'all been down there in the morning, but between 7 and 8:15, it is unreal. Even in the afternoon, between 2 and 3:15, it's unreal. And I just thought of something a while ago. You know, years ago, you come down 49 at 3 or 3:30, wasn't much traffic. You come down 49 now, it's just like 5 o'clock traffic. It's just so much traffic down there. And basically, that's all I want to say is those two concerns is the weight on our streets and the traffic during the school hours.
They
Do-
can't
do
use
they-
that fancy new bypass that we put in over there?
We're growing. And as a matter of fact, I like what Mr.
They
Gaines
use
said.
it, they use it too.
Oh, yes, everything's used.
Oh, it's,
Oh, it's unreal. I mean, but I like what Mr. Gaines said earlier. There's a gentleman standing up here that blamed everything on the Board of Supervisors, and y'all had nothing to do with it. I like that. I'm going to use that. But have y'all got any questions?
Do they do a permit in the city? Do they need to go through you for a permit in the city
Yes,
to
sir.
where you can,
They go through our zone, yes, sir.
I mean, so you can put times on them and a route?
Exactly. And actually, that's what we want to do, and we have done that. It
Why
has
don't
been-
we
it has-
work together with them and,
well, that's what, I think, that's what I thought. I mean, what we've come up with, we'll see if they're, okay with it. Not if they want to tweak it some for them, then they can do that.
I wanted the mayor to have an
About half
opportunity
and
to
half.
address the board and share with you the concerns. And then, as we move through these conditions, my hope will be that, that the concerns that have been voiced to you will be addressed as a part of the way that your staff has put together the conditions on the operation of this permit.
And make sure you're okay with.
That's right.
That's right. You hear and see if you recognize any problem with anything.
Based
Bob,
on,
how do y'all deal with all the dirt pit now?
Well-
What do you do, make them do?
Well, right now, we try, what they're doing now, we haven't said anything to them. Basically because we're waiting to see what y'all are going to do.
I think
Well, I mean, isn't there
Jay's question is
two
just
dirt
generally,
pits?
dirt pits that are being operated within the municipal boundaries of the city of Florence. How do y'all handle those?
Permits, bonds. They have to have a permit, like, we got a couple streets that again, I'm sorry, I can't talk. We have the streets that we're worried about, we make them put bonds up. And so far, everything's going pretty good, but from what I understand, there's gonna be so much traffic now with all these dump trucks, the way they want to operate. Again, our streets can't handle it. So there will be, and I'll get with Mr. Parker, and we'll look and see what we've got to do to help help y'all out. If we can help you as far as the permits and bonds, we'll do what we can to help you.
Jay, they actually have, in the past, they've prohibited them coming through at all. And the area that they had to let them out on, they made them bond that.
Right, there's some places that they couldn't come through.
Several years ago, the one that went out to, I believe it was when they did the outlet mall several years ago. They had to bond that, they wouldn't let them come through. In some instances, they just.
I know Richland did. I didn't
Well,
know Florence
Richmond and
did.
Florence, no, Florence refused to let them come through. So the section that they used, they had to, and then the section that Richmond picked up on.
You
they
talking
had to do
about North Church Street?
Yeah,
Yeah, we wouldn't let them.
right. And then in some cases, they just don't let them come through at all.
I mean, that's their prerogative. You
I
know,
know. I know, I'm just saying.
I'm big about how we treat this one. We're gonna treat everybody the same
I
way,
agree
you know?
100% on
And
that.
the
Right's right and
difference-
wrong's
The
wrong.
difference
Yeah.
with this one is the number, as is in a lot of other cases. If there's just, building a house pad and you got
Mhm.
coming out with 10 loads over a week, that's different.
Well, if they
It'd be
build
nice
it,
if we would have approved our, plan,
Hall
You know.
plan.
yeah, hall ordinance a few months ago.
yeah.
This would take care of this already.
You don't have to drag that up.
We haven't approved that yet?
And he's got, also, a
I ain't
route,
got nothing to do, you, Bob.
I know, I understand, Brother Jay.
also they come up with a route too, they do the same thing.
Right, we got certain routes they can take, but like Jerry said, and we'll let them come through if they're building a house. We're not gonna stop them from building a house.
Yeah.
I mean, they've got to come through at some point to
Just
help out.
highways, you don't.
But they come, no,
Yeah, that's
but
a
they
lot.
come
A
to
lot
them and
of
tell them what to do to get that permit to go further,
I got you.
Right.
All
just
right.
like we do.
They gotta come through us for everything.
Yep.
They-
Y'all have any other questions for Mayor Morris?
Nah, I don't know. He might have some after
Okay.
you get through.
Sit tight, I'm gonna go through these conditions right quick. I'm gonna go through the conditions with you that are proposed by the staff, and then we will give an opportunity for anyone else that wants to speak on this matter to speak. First and foremost, I want to go back and point out to the board that this conditional use permit applies to a 4-acre site. A 4-acre site that has been permitted by DEQ. The permit issued by DEQ does not apply outside the boundaries of the 4-acre site that was considered. And that is all that you are being asked to further consider with respect to a conditional use. We'll make that abundantly clear on the record. The applicant, nor anyone who is operating under the conditional use permit is permitted to get outside the boundaries of the 4-acre site that was submitted to DEQ and considered. Okay? So as you hear some of the conditions, it'll become clear why a particular condition may be worded the way that it is. The first condition is hours of operation. If you grant the conditional use permit and accept this condition, it would set an hours of operation for the period while school is in session to Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. No hauling after 2 p.m. while school is in session. On Saturday, it's 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. When school is not in session, the hours of operation, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., and Saturday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. No hauling on Sundays, period. The second condition, the applicant must work with the county road manager concerning all ingress and egress areas at the site of the pit. This is to account for the damage to the public road that will naturally occur at that point where the trucks are turning in and turning out. Third condition, two flagmen shall be required to control traffic at the site. Both are to be stationed near the point of ingress and egress to provide warning signals for traffic approaching the site of ingress and egress from both lanes of travel along White Road. Fourth condition, the applicant must keep a water truck on site. Fifth condition, the applicant must on a daily basis keep the road, White Road, free and clear of all debris. Sixth condition, the applicant must provide a letter of credit meeting the requirements that are set forth in the Rankin County Development Ordinance, made payable to Rankin County, Mississippi, and drawn on a Rankin County-based banking institution. The amount of the letter of credit shall provide sufficient security to protect against and repair any and all damage to all public roads constituting the haul route for the road project that has made the basis of this conditional use application. The amount of security to be set forth in the letter of credit shall be determined by the Rankin County Road Manager and/or the Rankin County Consulting Engineer, and shall include all public roads constituting the haul route for the road project, including public roads and/or segments of public roads that are located within the jurisdictional boundaries of a municipality. So the entire haul route from tip to bottom, wherever it is, will be collateralized or secured against damage by the use of a letter of credit. I want to make one extra point here about that. A bond is not acceptable. A letter of credit issued on a Rankin County-based lending institution is what will be required. And the amount of the letter of credit will be established by either the road manager and or the consulting engineer. The next condition, the applicant will monitor the haul route on a daily basis to identify damage to the haul route that is caused by the hauling operations. All damage to the haul route shall be repaired by the applicant immediately. Rankin County shall have the complete discretion to initiate a stop work order to shut down the hauling operations and or to rescind the applicant's permit for hauling operations in the event the damages to the haul route are not immediately repaired. This requirement shall be in addition to and not in place of any other conditions contained in the permit. The next condition, the applicant must survey the 4-acre site that is permitted by DEQ and stake the site clearly so that county representatives are able to easily identify the permitted site. The next condition, this conditional use permit will expire when the Highway 49 project is deemed substantially complete. Next condition, the Office of Community Development will conduct a 6-month review of the site, the permitted site, to determine if the mining operations may be allowed to continue under this conditional use permit. And the next condition, the last condition, is the applicant understands and agrees that absolutely no activity related to this conditional use application will be conducted on any part of the property that is not covered by the DEQ permit. All right? So those are the conditions that are established and proposed by the staff. This time, we will open the floor to anyone who wants to speak on the matter of this conditional use application. Mayor Morrison, you may have heard those conditions, and I wonder if you have any questions. All right, if you'll please come forward.
What was the hours of operation when school was in session?
8 a.m. to 2 p.m.
You know, it doesn't get out to 3?
Sir?
No, they don't get out to 3:15.
Yes, sir. They have to stop operations at 2 p.m.
Good, okay, that's all I had.
All right.
That's all, thank you.
Okay. Is there anyone else that wants to speak on this matter? Anyone else?
Somebody's getting up back here, Craig.
Come on.
They need to move.
Need to hurry. Going once.
Trying to say what you're
Yeah.
saying.
Here they come.
I'll speak on it. I think everything's in Mr. Grantham's name, but I just told him we wouldn't do that. I don't know how many different things you just listed off there, but it was several.
Yes.
I would hope that them dirt pits that's on that road today are abiding by those same policies and procedures.
You need to be speaking to us, not him. We're the ones that set the conditions.
Okay,
I mean, you need to talk about to us.
all right.
He's not, he just doesn't.
I was
read
speaking to
checks.
everyone, no one in particular.
Right.
But as far as Mr. Grant, I mean, we're not gonna do that. I don't know what Mr. Grantham wants to do.
You gonna know what part? Any of it?
No.
You're not happy with any of it?
No, I'm not saying that. We could go through it line by line and,
No, I'm just saying, well, I mean, there's gotta be something, you know, and then you gotta
yeah,
understand.
as far as the working hours and things like that, yes, absolutely, we cooperate with all that. But binding roads that's getting driven on every single day by dump trucks, that's,
But not, the difference is not, and that's what he's trying to cover, as well as what I think the mayor is, saying, it's the number. And this is, let me explain. When we-
Isn't White Road a state aid road?
Yeah, it is, Jay. Just got done. Just did, we just spent several $1 million on it. But what I'm getting at, when the pipeline came through, they knew that was this was using the same road, but they knew that was a road, more activity on those roads than they'd ever see at one time. It wasn't like it's 1 or 2 trucks coming in. So they came in and basically did something similar to this to cover their haul route. And that's what basically here, this is a amount of traffic that this road may not have seen or will see. And from this, when you're talking about this dirt pit, true, but that's, they're not talking about hauling constant like you'll be hauling. And you may not damage the road at all, but it's just to cover that. And if there was another one coming in to haul that magnitude, then yeah, I think we would have to look at it the same way, because in the end, if it does get torn up, and this road is a good road, just like Mr. Bishop said, has just been redone, then we're the ones that have to, we, the taxpayers, are the ones that have to redo it. And so that's what we're gonna hear from all the people, is why'd you let them tear our road up, and we're the one having to pay it? Are they gonna fix it? Who's gonna fix it? And so that's all. Like, it may not do it at all. There was a road we hauled out of 200-something loads of timber, only way out. We just knew it would completely destroy the road. The timber cruiser did it. They agreed to do the same thing. And their lucky self wasn't even a pothole created. But they agreed because they knew that was more traffic than that road has seen and will see. And so this really is the same scenario. It's not singling anybody out. If it's really not.
Right.
Because Lord knows we all want 49 done.
Yeah, we do too. I understand what you're saying, but I pass by that road several times a day, and there's constantly, it's the same trucks coming down it every single day.
From where?
Coming up White Road into Florence.
Not very many.
Just the times I pass by.
I live on it, so
You
I'm
should
not
see
gonna
it.
argue with you, but I travel it probably way more than you travel it.
Right.
So, I mean, I'm not arguing with you. I hope you get to use it and Grantham gets to sell the dirt.
Right.
However, it's not very much dirt there, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. So, I mean, I think
But again, if
the mayor, and there again, the mayor could just shut you off completely coming through town.
right.
So we're trying to work something out that's a compromise.
Yeah, and we're not going through there right now. I mean,
Not going through there now.
correct.
But I mean, but you would be.
Correct.
And that's what I'm saying. He's looking at it, I think, from that perspective. I mean, like I said, they've shut them off before coming through. Because,
Right, and that's what we want to do as well.
these things are actually things to help cover it. Not that you're gonna create any of this problem, but I hope not any. But this is just to help cover the taxpayers. And I'm in a bad position because I know all the players involved,
Right.
but also know all the people I represent. And also know all the phone calls that I've already gotten that really don't want to see it happen. But they're willing to try to work things out. And like I say, Lord knows I've been knowing the Granthams forever. We a family, been there, they've been there longer than I have. But I know every member of the family. So I'm trying to do what I can to make this happen. But this is just a way that the attorney feels like the best way to protect it. Community development feels like the best way to protect the interests of the taxpayers, but yet still allow this to happen. So that's kind of where we are. And Roger, if you got something to say, I wish you would, because I'm wanting this to try to get something work where you can get this sold and out of there. So I don't know what else I can, that's the reason I ask you, what part do you not like?
Well, I forgot how it was worded, but the bond and the road part, I still,
Letter of credit, we don't do bonds.
right, we're saying,
Well, who's gonna pay for the roads if they're damaged? I mean, I'm asking you.
well, what my complaint would be, let's just say I would do this right now, today, as we stand here. There's trucks hauling on that road today that's not ours. So,
Which ones you talking about?
there's other dirt pits on that road that's in operation right now. So if they come out and tear the road up, right now as we're standing in this room, I'm responsible, correct?
Well, if they're coming out like you say, I'll get with them and see if we can't get a letter of credit on them. I mean, what we do for you, we do for everybody. We're
Right. And that's about the only thing we're trying
Well, I'll see what I can do on that.
Okay.
I'm for you, I'm not
to.
against it.
I understand. But that's gonna be our main concern right there.
Well, is there a way, and I'm just asking this out loud, is there a way to assess the road now and assess it?
Yes, sir. In fact, I may just to clarify, the condition says that the amount of the letter of credit that will have to be provided or presented before the conditional use permit is issued will be determined by the work product of the road manager and the county consulting engineer. They're smart enough to be able to identify road damage that's already occurred and to segregate that from the amount that we would choose for this particular applicant to secure a letter of credit in the amount of. So, I trust their judgment to figure out what is the damage, what potential damages can we already see now before they've even started, and that would be deducted or eliminated from the calculation of the amount of the letter of credit that's utilized to protect the road here. I would also assume that the applicant would want to protect themselves against a claim that somebody else's damage should be attributable to them.
Mm-hmm.
So they should probably use their best efforts to determine what damage can we show, establish, prove is the result of some other party, not us.
You know, there's places like where you go in and out of the pit, you know, any of them, they're gonna twist and turn. There are places where you get, at the end of White Road, when you turn on 469, you twist and turn. The red light, under the red light there, it's all that twist and turning. Those are the points that you know are gonna be more vulnerable. And it's not necessarily the road itself from running straight.
Right, but I think he even expressed from tip to toe, wherever how you put
Yes.
it there, that would be the whole road.
Well,
The
it is,
entire
I'm
haul
just
route.
saying, it could, okay, let's just say a big
I understand what you're
a big
saying, but I also
part starts
understand
crushing in there on the side, and it's not there. Obviously, no number of trucks are being hauled or hauling dirt out there now to that number at all. I know the ones you're talking about, and it's very minimal that come in and out of there.
Yeah, the operations that are underway at the moment are either permitted by previous conditional use permit, or they're operating without a permit, which is something that we would want to address. Okay? So the answer to the question, what are you doing about everybody else? I mean, how many times a board meeting do we hear that? The only thing that's before us right now is this conditional use application. We're going to address this particular conditional use application.
Okay.
And so I'm not concerned about what other operations are going on out
All
there.
right, well, just on this right here, then what is it of this that we can do to help protect the road that you could compromise somewhere with?
I'm sorry, can I ask a question? Why is not a bond good enough? We don't require anybody else to do that.
Yes, sir, we do. Under our development ordinance, Jay, we require the developer and everybody that's associated with the developer to provide us with a letter of credit to
But
protect.
I'm talking about dirt pits.
Yeah, well, we have in the past used a letter of credit. I think Jared actually alluded to one that we did with a timber
did.
hauler. And they provided us a letter of credit to protect
Yeah.
a county road. So we have done that in the past. I'll tell you why we don't like bonds.
Well, it's not our normal practice, though.
We did it, Jay, in the case I'm talking about. We went in and evaluated, Dale and them, evaluated what it cost, looked at it, and what it cost to repair it, and that's what they put up.
And not only that, we don't ever go to a dirt pit and stake it off and make sure they stay within those guidelines. We don't do that either. Why are we being such a hard butt on this man back here?
Let me address the letter of credit bond question first. I don't recommend bonds for the very reason that came up, Jay, in our Oak Grove situation. That was a bonded job. And what happens in those situations is when there's a failure of performance on a bonded job, which is what the whole security item is, it's somebody has a responsibility, and in the event they don't perform that responsibility, there has to be some way for the county to hold somebody to account for that.
Well,
So
you
that's
know
the
my
purpose of the
feeling on
bond.
this from discussion of trying to get our hall ordinance passed. You know, I didn't agree with having letter credit there, and
Right.
I still think we have worked with a reputable company that they're going to do their part.
Right. I tend to
And if
agree.
they don't,
I'm saying if we were, I think we're working with a reputable
But
company,
still,
and I think they
you
will
leave
do their
yourself
part.
out there, and
So why are we?
well, I don't agree.
Okay. Well,
And not that they're not reputable, I agree completely. But I don't want to leave, I have to answer to all the phone calls that I'm getting that you're not getting, and emails that say, what are you gonna do if this happens? I'm trying to say, well, this is gonna happen. And they say, what are you gonna do about the road?
but
Who's
it's
gonna
a
pay for
state
it?
aid road, though. I mean, it's supposed to be able to take traffic.
Okay.
So a letter of credit puts the control in the county. It's the best position that we can be in. When the county decides that the responsibilities are not being met, the county has the ability to call it.
I got you.
We don't have to call a bonding company and say, hey, can you please make your guy do this?
Lord, you know what that's about.
Yep.
You went down that road.
Yep.
So it's a much more protective methodology in terms of security on the condition of the road. It is a process that we are very familiar with in the context of development activity. And there is some aspect of hauling activity that is related to development activity, Jay. So they are, in my opinion, they're transferable. And so we can, it's a conditional use. You set the conditions, and I keep euphemistically referring to the staff. Your lawyer has suggested strongly that the letter of credit is the way to go. They are easily accessible. The banking institutions are very familiar with them. A company of this size, good grief, they may even own and control the bank that would be issuing the letter of credit.
Well, I can understand where they're coming from. I mean, why would they want to have to take the risk whenever there's already existing traffic on the road? You know,
Well, I
I mean,
think
it
that's
is
where
a
we're
state aid
coming up.
road.
I
That's
agree.
where heavy traffic's supposed to be.
I agree, and that's where that's where also, I think, like you said, our engineer and our road manager would be fair. I got a question. What is it, if there's not a letter of credit, or what does the city want? Or if there's not a letter of credit, are you gonna let them come through?
I want a letter of credit, period. That's what I want.
What do you want?
Letter of credit.
I have a problem with letter of credit. If that's the direction you want to go in the future, right, across the board. It's
Well,
just not dirt pits.
I did,
It's everything.
I'm gonna say 2-3 weeks ago, I had similar guy with the road and a ditch, and we did a letter of credit. I mean, that was just, but where I'm at here, do we have to go up or down today? I mean,
This is the second time they've
Yeah,
been
this-
done.
Approve it.
well,
Yes, sir.
I mean,
This
I
is
would
the
like,
public hearing.
this is not my district, and I normally do not especially go against or whatever somebody like Jared's district. So I have to support Jared. But I would like for the mayor, the man that owns the property, this guy, Jared, road supervisor, to be able to go line by line. And
I think that's what I'm asking now.
Yeah.
The only problem he has, though, is the letter of credit for the road. I think he said he pretty much, and that pretty much what said, you're okay with most everything else? The flag deal, I know sounds a little, but I do know if you're coming, west to east, that is kind of a blind spot. And I agree, they're going too fast. But when they come up that hill, there they are, you're coming out of that entrance. And then when you come in the other way, it's not as bad, but when you come down that hill going west, as you're coming out with a trailer truck and everything, I do know that. The worst way would be coming, and Rod, you agree, from the Hidden Ranch side. You know, you come down that hill, you come up, you know, then they're going too fast. They're probably going 70, ought to be going 45. But,
We have a flag, you remember on, Gold Coast? And they truck that waste or water or whatever, where they take it to, we require them to flag, and it's not nearly as
So-
much traffic as.
honestly, I think in what you're saying, Steve, the letter of credit part's the only issue you have.
Yeah.
Well, but you see, the city is gonna require the same thing. And I think we could be fair on what damage is being done or not being done, whether you have contributed or not. And that's the same way we did when the pipeline came through. We videoed that road, videoed everything. In the end, they agreed, and we worked out a compromise, and they wrote us a check. Because they agreed, and we had some roads torn all to pieces. But I know that was a situation kind of like this. It's probably more constant traffic at one time there's gonna be, has been in the future, or will be, in the past, and will be in the future. As far as staking it off, I think that's something just so we'll know where we are.
Yeah, as far as that, it's got GPS numbers on your permit there.
Huh?
You've got GPS numbers on your
Okay.
permit.
So the only thing you really, I think, is talking about the letter of credit deal. And I don't know, we surely can work out something there, because the city's gonna want it, require the same thing.
Will it be a finite, it'll be a number, a
correct.
dollar number, to where you
That's
don't
correct.
say, wait a minute now.
That's
I
correct.
don't know what that number would be, and maybe that's where we are. I don't know what that number may possibly be.
That's something we'd have to
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
Yeah. I
We-
think that's the only bump we got right there.
Yeah, I have a suspicion that it'll be a pretty big number, and that's because we would probably take our cue from the ordinances that are enforced by the city of Florence, because a portion of this haul route will be right through the middle of Florence. And my best recollection, I'm going to look back at our consulting engineer, my best recollection is that whenever a letter of credit is calculated under the city of Florence's ordinance structure, that it includes 2 inches of overlay. So that's going to be a big number. As far as the letter of credit itself, I want to hasten to add, however, that the way letters of credit work is that there first has to be a determination that the person for whom the letter of credit is issued, in this case it would be the applicant, that person has to first fail and refuse to clear the damage. That's the first thing. It's not like we're going to just walk out there one day and say, well, look at there's a pothole 3 feet off the right of way, and call the entire letter of credit over that failure. That's not the way it works. The first step would be, you got a pothole, it's in our right of way, we got to get that fixed. And the applicant would have an opportunity then to fix the repair. And it's only after that failure or refusal to address the damage themselves that we would then look to the letter of credit to protect the taxpayers. That's the way it works. I understand why they don't
Basically,
want
it's
to.
like insurance, unless, if you don't fix it, you can fix it yourself, or the insurance will fix it.
Yes.
Call it in.
Yes.
Well,
The banks don't issue letters of credit, however, without
Collateral.
And so therein lies the issue for the applicant and those who are going to be using this. There's another issue here that I don't want to leave unaddressed, and it's this. The applicant has chosen to seek an exempt mine operation. And this goes to Jay's question, why are we asking them to put stakes up? They sought, the applicant has 154 acres out there, but he is seeking only to permit through DEQ's purposes a 4-acre site. That makes it an exempt mine. And because it's exempt, the applicant saves a ton of money in engineering and other requirements that would go along with permitting a larger site. Okay? The site that is being permitted, we need to be able to see where that is. Why are we asking for staking? It's so that we can monitor where is this fill material coming out, where is it leaving from, and what's being put back. Okay? It's just a large area out there.
Went through some of that down off of, West Petros one time before it became my district. Okay,
They don't have to do the exempt mine.
they weren't.
They could
Mine
get the whole
everywhere
thing
else. You
permitted,
did
and
down
this
off
would be a
West
totally
Petros.
different discussion.
You know what I'm talking about.
But for our purposes, they've sought to do this
And-
4 acres at a time, and we want to see and be able to monitor where is the 4 acres and who is watching that.
Well, he
we
didn't seem
feel-
to have, you didn't seem to have a problem with the GPS monitor. The only thing is the letter of credit. So we could work with what the mayor could work with.
Jared, I got, excuse me just a minute.
What?
You were referring to some trucks coming through the city. Well, I just contacted the chief, and according to our chief, there's no trucks coming through the city. Now, there's a Mr. Leon that had 8 loads last week to a house, which is in the city, which we will let him come through for that. And they're building another house on West Main, and at this time, nobody's contacted the chief or anyone else about bringing in loads of dirt. But other than that, there's no trucks coming through there. We even ride 18-wheelers, especially 18-wheelers trying to use our streets. Every time we see one of those, we issue them a citation. And like I said, the only thing, and I'm not hard to get along with, the only thing I want is for the citizens to be taken care of. I just want them protected. 'Cause like y'all, you don't you don't want your taxpayers spending more money than they have to. And I don't want ours to do that either. And a letter of credit, I don't think is asking too much to get them where they want to be and to get us where we want to be. Okay? Thank you. If you got anything?
All
All
right.
right, well, is there anything else you're gonna add to that? Or something?
No, I
Rob?
mean, I guess we just need to figure out whoever you said is Mike or whoever's gonna go look at the roads. And we need to go from that point.
Craig, wouldn't that be appropriate next step?
Yeah, so the next step would be to consider the conditions that have been put before you. You've heard from others, including the mayor, about the relative strength of these conditions, the applicability of the conditions. There's some unanswered questions, but we're not telling you a specific amount of a letter of credit. We're saying that the condition will be this. It'll be all of these conditions: hours of operation, the flag men, the protecting of the entrance, that type of thing, plus this letter of credit requirement. And we are saying that the applicant has to put up an acceptable letter of credit that meets these conditions in an amount determined by your professionals. So you're not determining an amount, you're just saying as a condition, this is how this permit is going to be
Okay.
issued.
Okay.
And so I would say, accept the conditions, this would be my recommendation, accept the conditions as printed, instruct your staff to make sure that we get a letter of credit in an appropriate amount determined by your professionals. Assuming all of that gets worked out and the applicant still wants to move forward, a conditional use permit will be issued.
Is that something we work with?
Craig,
Instead of just putting it, go ahead, I'm sorry.
what route is, I mean, we've talked about the routes and all, what route are you looking at? I mean, is this something that would be determined by Mike and Tim? The route
Well,
that they would
yeah,
have
the
to
haul
travel?
route, and
Yes.
I think, Mayor, you're wanting them to come right up through Florence. You don't want them to go down, Cemetery Street. You don't want them to go down Eagle Post. But you probably wouldn't want Eagle Post anyway. It's at the other end of your it's not even on the construction's
Right.
map.
Cause from White Road on to 469 would almost be impossible to turn and go back to Eagle Post. I mean, a trailer truck's not gonna be able to make
Right.
that
So,
turn.
My
Shutting
guess,
down 469 and White Road.
my route, I would think, be White Road to 469 Cemetery, left to the red light, right to 49. That would be my thoughts. Yeah, that's gonna be the easiest, most congested in it too.
So that is the route, unless there's additional discussion on that point. That will be an additional condition, that is the haul route that will be provided to the applicant
Yeah.
for this project.
Well, I'm good with making a motion to, with this, and then let's see if we can work out, and then if you don't go along with it, then you're the one that kills the project, kills the whole thing. So, I mean, anything else?
No, so I think, Jared, your motion would be to approve the conditional use application with all of the conditions that have been presented, plus the established haul route as discussed, and then to instruct your professionals to come up with an appropriate amount to be communicated to the applicant for the purpose of putting a letter of credit together and getting that to the Office of Community Development.
And at the same time, now, as a city, it's different, but do they need to be working on something, or will we come, they'll work with us? Or
Yes,
we'll
sir.
work? Okay,
The entire haul route will
Okay.
be protected
Okay.
by this letter of credit. So whatever damage comes, whether it's outside the municipal boundary of Florence or inside the municipal boundary of Florence, it's covered by the same letter of credit.
okay, okay.
All right.
All right, I make that motion.
Jared makes a motion.
Second.
Bob seconds. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay.
Motion passes to do the conditional use permit.
My buddy.
I'm gonna remind you that every other dirt pit we get coming up here.
Well, maybe the dirt pit may look like that one.
Maybe the same thing, Jay.
Well, you had your chance to vote for it before.
All right.
Well, what sort of picture you talking about?
When we tried to do the haul bond ordinance, you were against it, and it did everything you just asked for, but less.
And you're the one who wanted to help kill it.
No, I wanted to vote for it.
The whole bond.
Yeah, I'm the one sat down with the attorneys and Mike and Tim and drafted the darn thing.
And I said, I think it's good we kind of do them case by case. Anyway,
All right.
all right.
Ms. Wanda?
Item A, authority to publish a notice of the State Treasurer Unclaimed Property event to be held October 28, 2019, from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. in the boardroom of the Rankin County Board of Supervisors.
So moved.
Second.
All right. Bob makes a motion. Jay seconds. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passed.
And item B, authority for the board president to execute the supplemental agreement number 1 for the Spillway Road North Shore Parkway widening federal aid project.
Wish to approve.
Second.
All right, Bob makes a motion. Jay seconds it. Any other discussion? And I have a question. What is this I'm signing, Craig?
This one, I don't think I can answer that.
Okay.
Is this on the supplemental agreement?
Yes.
This is on the North Shore Spillway Road project. MDOT maintains a stormwater permit statewide with DEQ, and it's obviously referenced in Hemp Hill's documents with the county. And MDOT's permit has expired and been renewed, so the number, MDOT permit number has changed. So all this supplemental agreement is doing is changing in Hemp Hill's construction documents, that permit number. There's no change in anything. It's just MDOT statewide stormwater permit expired. It got renewed. It gets a new permit number. It's just a cleanup thing that they require to put it in Hemp Hill's documents.
All right. We had a motion by Bob, second by Jay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passed. All right, additional business. Mike Word, you got 1 minute.
I believe I can do it in 1 minute. Set the clock.
Yep.
Here we go. Back on August the 1st, this board approved the purchase of 3 hops on our microwave agreement. I gave you 2 options that we had that were on the table to purchase those. One was put it into the bond. The other was with a lease agreement with Motorola. I just need to know which way you want to go so I can get those guys started on that. We're 4 months, at least 4 months of building those microwave systems and the engineering. So, and then probably another 2 to install them. So I'm at April as of today.
All right, it's gonna
What
take
was the
longer in a minute.
decision again,
Yeah, I
Motorola
don't,
versus?
will you refresh my memory, please?
Motorola has a lease option agreement,
No,
a
the
lease
3 hops.
purchase.
What is it?
The microwave system. We've got 3 more links that are the 16-year-old system. These 3 will bring it all up together so that next year we can
How
come
much
back
was
and
it?
hopefully put those into the maintenance agreement.
How much was it?
It's about $300,000.
Okay.
Mason, what do you, I'm sorry.
We
I just need to know-
either- We need to do a lease or pay for it out of the bond.
Pay for it out of the bond.
Which one you want, Laura?
How much is it? How much is it?
About $300,000.
All right. Yep, I'm good with the bond.
You need action on that?
Is that,
Do you? Do we?
If it's through the bond, is that just a purchase order from Bridget then at that point? Because that's all Carl said he needed.
I think we do, just to verify.
That's eligible for our bond?
Is that state aid?
Equipment.
I mean, state contract?
Oh, yes.
It is, so we don't have to
Yes.
bid it or nothing?
No,
Okay,
it's through the Miss Win contract.
all right.
All right,
Do we need to vote on this?
Motion to use bond proceeds in the amount of $300,000 to do whatever Microwave wants to do. How about that?
Second.
I don't think that-
Oops.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
That was
Like
vacation.
That would be blank, and then you get $305 party, but.
Can I get a copy of that? I just want to
We
flame
got
it,
a-
stick it in the office.
Bob makes a motion to use bond money approximately 300,000 to purchase some upgrade microwave
Some
or something.
conference, you know, Sweden or something.
Jay seconds that motion. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
In Bora Bora. It's the
Yeah.
place to go. Mr. President, item B is just requesting authority from Melissa Bryan to submit all of our documentation that's required by the FCC so that we can, for lack of better terms, flip the switch in January on our text to 911. We are on the final stages of finishing up that project. It's been going on since January. We've got to have authority through the FCC, and just authority for her to go through the application and documentation process.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All right, Bob makes a motion, Jay seconds. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. All right. Do we have a need?
Make a motion to go discuss the need for executive session.
Do we?
Yes.
Yep, personnel.
Mutual acquisition of real property.
All right. Bob made a motion. Who, you said?
I second. Yeah.
All right, Jay seconds, or pick your, I don't care. Bob made a motion, I think Jay second, to go into to have a need to go into executive session. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passed.
Motion to go into executive session, discuss personnel and acquisition of real estate or real property.
Second.
All right, Bob makes a motion, go into executive session, personnel and land acquisition. Jay second. Any other discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion passes.
Hey, Dwayne. Dwayne.